call the meeting to order. The 1928 Building Committee, October 11th. Pledge of Allegiance and
the flag. So
what's the official Yeah. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, any public comment? Devin, any hands out there? We're all set? Okay. All right. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the September 27th, 2022 meeting.
Motion. Second. Any
corrections, comments? All those in favor state by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Passes. Reports. Chair report. When was that? 2 weeks ago, Kathy?
Yes.
2 weeks ago, Chris and I went to the council. Chris presented to the council the what we were, where we were heading, and what the plan that we had planned to be, and the size and magnitude of that project, and he explained to them how big that was, and subsequently, the council decided to go with option A, which would be just solely the 1928 building. They voted on it, had some brief discussion on it, but it was voted, I think, unanimously to go with the plan A. So moving forward now, we will be, in the eyes of the council, looking at option A moving forward here. So on that note, Joe, maybe you want to pretty much, you summed it all up. Pretty much summed it all up on that. Thank you. Okay. E3, Chris, anything to report?
No report. Will be meeting tomorrow night, and should be. I don't want to get ahead of the cart ahead, but hopefully we get some feedback on the bid project, the bidding coming in.
Oh yeah,
that's tomorrow night. Hopefully, well, we got it. So I want to.
It's been split into a couple dates. First was the critical packages, which we did last week. There's some more due tomorrow, and then a final round due Tuesday the 18th.
Yeah.
It's trickling in.
Yeah.
What's the schedule to break ground?
It would be probably November timeframe of this year.
Okay, architect report, Chris.
Present, but at the last meeting, you tasked us to look at the 1928 building with a different program, being moving the existing town hall functions over to 1928, leaving community rec in 28, and shifting probate out of 28. So I guess the spoiler is it's good news. Everything that's within town hall in terms of current as well as projected future needs based on our interviews and questionnaires, we confirmed fits into the 28 building. Now, we still have to go back and meet with the department heads again to look at layouts. We need to fine tune the plans that you're going to see tonight. This was just really a first pass to see, one, that we can get the programmatic needs in terms of square footage into the 28 building, and then two, that we can achieve the adjacencies that we want to achieve, meaning, each floor has a limited amount of square footage. So can we fit these departments in the building without separating the assessor from the town clerk, or without needing to put public works on 2 different floors, for instance? So we believe everything works out well, but I'll walk you through these plans. But again, keep in mind, this was kind of a space proofing exercise, and we need to go through and fine tune all the different departments. Ideal layout for the town.
So just this is very I don't want to say conceptual, but this is our first revision.
Yeah.
And potentially many more to come on how you're going to lay out all these first, second, third.
But we did want to be detailed
Yep.
in laying out offices, conference
Yep.
rooms,
I get
because
it.
until we start to do that, it's really hard to say with any certainty that we're convinced it's going to work.
Is there any way we can make that bigger so people can see it, or should we work off the bigger
Should
screen?
we work out the third
Bigger
one?
screen?
Then we,
Yeah, you know what,
can we just roll that out of the way?
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. That were our cameras.
We'll be under this wall.
So we could
Yeah.
kind of play with this if we like, and we can walk through that way. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. So Chris, I'll drive in the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll kind of walk you through the building as one would experience it. So we kept the entry lobby position on the left-hand side in the pink. We added what reflects some type of reception security counter that would be similar to what exists in Town Hall. Enter the multi-purpose gymnasium directly from that lobby, or proceed through the doors at the bottom of the lobby down into that main corridor. On the left-hand side, we've added a shared mail copy room that will be used by all departments within the building, the main MDF server room for that facility, and then we kept a component for recreation outdoor storage as well in that block. That makes sense, so they can have overhead door and access directly to the multi-purpose and community rec classroom studio remain the same as we saw the last time. And one of the concerns we talked about with Kathy and Peter, and we're assessing in our office, is with the use during normal business hours for town hall, but then potentially after hours for community and rec, how can we provide the needed levels of security within the facility? So that was really the rationale for adding that door at the bottom of the reception lobby that you see. So if someone were coming in after hours, that door would be locked. They would have access into the multi-purpose gym space directly off that reception. And then if you could go down to show the toilet rooms. And then directly off the multi-purpose areas, you would have access to a sub-corridor for the toilet rooms. And another door at the end of that sub-corridor that could be locked during off hours or non-business hours, so that only that multi-purpose toilet room reception area could be accessible during off hours, but then during their normal business hours, those doors will all be unlocked and open for moving down to the other programmatic elements within this floor. You start at the bottom left, maybe. So the departments that are accessed most frequently by the public are typically the clerk, the tax collector, the assessor, the registrar. So those are the departments we've included on this main level. Also, the town clerk has vault storage needs, which we want to place on the slab on grade of that lower level or ground floor level if possible. So that slab on grade in the lower left-hand corner would be where we would place the top clerk vault. They have their open office and the clerk's office. In the salmon color, these are going to be our shared spaces throughout the building. So we have a break room on this floor. Then as you get into the center of the building, on the corridor side would be on the top, adjacent to the community rec room, the computer terminals for use by the public. And then opposite that would be the transaction window, the tax collector's office. So that's all central to the building, easy to see in and out, well secured. The tax collector would have their own vault or fire protected storage room within their space, and then the tax office.
Chris, I'll just jump in, just so you see, these dark areas are big fills of maybe openings. So we're trying to keep the structure, the main corridor, hallway structure intact and just infilling. And then obviously these are all new walls that sort of bisect that. So what you see in black or the darker shade is new walls, and then you may see these dark infills, those are potential infills of doors that currently exist that would be limited.
For a second means of egress out of the tax collector's office, we've provided means through an adjacent conference room. We can't get directly to the exterior of this floor because it's a split level. It's about 3 to 4 feet below grade. But this at least provides a second means out through a safety area. And then on the opposite side of the conference is the assessor's office, storage room, and reception / open office areas. In purple, and these labels got flip-flopped, but this would be the registrar area. So you would enter into the registrar's office, and then behind that would be their storage room. So they have pretty large storage units for all the voting equipment, ballots, secure storage. And what we also like about this plan is it provides them access, if needed, to utilize the multi-purpose space for classroom studio, whether it's same-day registration, or if there's any plan in the future to have voting in this facility, it would allow for that as well. Usually zoom out at first, Dave, and then we could zoom in. So on the second level, what we've done is we've moved community, rec, youth services, and social services up to the second level. So that entire bottom block in the 2 shades of blue is the same layout we had looked at previously. It's just moved from ground floor to second floor. We've provided them with another classroom space in the upper left-hand corner of this plan, adjacent to the elevator. And then in the green would be the IT offices and IT workroom. The toilet rooms remain in their current location, renovated. And then as you'll see on all floors, we've provided a shared break room and a shared conference room that would be utilized by the different departments. I won't go through the layout since we talked about that last 2 weeks ago. But if you want me to backtrack on that, that would be fine. On the third level, the remaining departments are the town manager's office, which is that teal color, the finance office in green, and public works in orange. I'll start with the town manager, which is closest to the elevator. Yep. So on the left-hand side, a little fussy. Is a training room that is utilized most often probably by the town manager's department, but would be open for other department use as well. And then the actual town manager's department is across the corridor from there. So an open office reception area where that door is coming off in the main corridor. Then you have the town manager, assistant town manager, economic development, and 2 additional offices for 5 total, as well as a dedicated copy file space and dedicated storage room that is about twice the size of the existing storage room, which is a need we heard during our interviews and questionnaires. And all these departments either meet or slightly exceed the square footage that they currently have in town hall. There weren't really any like large asks when we met with the department heads. It was usually a little bit more storage, maybe 1 more office, more file and copy rooms. So I would say in general, it actually worked out quite well that each department is probably getting 100 to 200 square feet extra versus what they have now, which we see as not excessive, but useful in the growth of the town and useful in allowing the needs of the town to be met a little better than what currently exists in town hall. So on the bottom left is finance, and mainly a large open office with cubicles, but again, a dedicated storage area, copy file room, and then the finance director's office. And then public works has 7 independent offices for fire marshal, building official, ZEO, zoning enforcement officer. town planner, assistant town planner, public works director, and chief of engineering services. And that area that Dave's highlighting right now would be the reception counter, as well as open office for engineering staff. The large rectangle to the left of that would be your copy, file, and storage area. And then to the left of that is a dedicated conference room for that department. They often have larger conference meetings in some other departments. So, and there's a conference room within their space now. So we've created that to meet their needs.
All right,
No dedicated vault. We could partition off some of that copy file storage to create separate storage rooms that are secure. But a vault would be something that's likely not approved by the state when we're doing determinations. They'll only allow vaults, true vaults, for the departments that are required by the general statute, which is typically probate. And
we can't create a rated, dedicated room.
Exactly.
That you just have to find officially as involved, but the floors, wall, ceiling, or I should say, really the walls are rated as opposed to full.
And we know we need to go back and probably switch some of these rooms, make sure that the larger offices are going to the functions that need a little more square footage, and also just talk about how things are arranged for public access as well as day-to-day staff use. And if anything, I want to point out that there is a little bit of flex space. We have a break room and a conference room on each floor, which is not typical always, not required. There could be, just a break room on one or two of the levels. And that, again, provides some flex space if we need to increase any square footages or add program that may have been overlooked in the first pass.
Where's the planning office? I'm sorry.
The planning, planner, town planners here, assistant town planners.
Is there a conference room?
The conference room is here, and so if contractors or applicants come, they're able to just come directly.
You're a developer, you want to be with the planning staff, not engineering. This planning, you got to go all the way down to the.
You go here as opposed to navigating them through their offices or behind the service desk in this case. So you come in, they'll check in and say go down to this room, and then staff will meet them.
The multi-purpose group, which is Jim, is there a space in there for seating? I know that we're not talking about furniture and things like that, but I'm just curious about seating. I mean, just but I'm not sure that's where we would land, but I'm curious about.
So bleachers, and we often see, especially in maybe like an elementary school, bleachers that might only be 2 tiers, like small seating areas. It would take away some of that court space. Right now, as you can see, the boundary lines of the basketball court are pretty close to those exterior walls. Right. So it would be a compromise if we were to do anything that was fixed. And it would need to be along that exterior wall, most likely, the top wall. And those doors, the 2 doors at the top aren't necessary. We can just have the doors out on either side. So that would be the location where we would consider it. But again, I think it would be a slight compromise to the boundary lines of the basketball court.
Okay. But there's space to stand.
Yeah, you could have loose chairs.
You still have that classroom space, right? If that's a partition wall, that's not going to be a solid wall.
Yeah, if that classroom wasn't in use, there could certainly be portable small bleacher or portable chairs that could be set up on that side, which would provide plenty of seating.
We've talked about different things that space might be used for. I'm curious if that space could be used during the day, how security would work for that. We've got them coming in from the lobby. I'm just envisioning, some seniors wanting to come in and pick the bars.
Right.
During the day, so I'm assuming that space would be okay to get in and out of even during the day.
Correct.
Without having to go.
Correct,
Without
yes. Unless someone were to wander intentionally or unintentionally, there would be no reason for anyone using that space to cross into the town department areas.
And I would assume that everybody, all the departments, everybody would talk about security in general. Anyway, could you just, to come in from the lobby, I'm assuming that, because you guys have certainly set a lot of different ways for security and things like that the town hall didn't have in the past. Could you just show me the conference rooms? Do you know off the top of your head how many you have in the building for conference space?
There's one shared conference room on each floor.
Okay.
That's for about 10 to 12 people each. There's a room on the 3rd floor for public works, and there's a training room on the 3rd floor. That's a larger conference room, or will function as a larger conference room on the left-hand side.
And what does that mean, training room?
That would be for like when HR would do our testing for all our different positions and things of that nature. So we have that, that we use that quite a bit right now. We have to go either to the community center or different rooms to do that. So that was the thought on that. Okay. And all the training for the employees and different things that the HR department does. Okay.
So it's total, if we're counting the training room as a conference room, it's 5.
Kathy?
Yeah, one of the things I just wanted to kind of talk to the committee a little bit about. I think that when we met, Chris kind of showed us this just late last week, and I think it's great that we all could move in. But I think the next thing that really has to happen is that I need to look at it, and my department heads need to look at it to make sure it really works for us. I mean, off the top of my head, I see things like even what Russ was saying about not having this vault. We haven't gone through it yet. Right. I see a couple of offices that I think look like there's too much space there versus some of them that look like there's probably not enough space. The conference room, like even the training room, which I think we need something like that. But for example, I'm not sure we need something as big as that. And so I think we need now, I think it looks excellent, but I think we need some time to really go through it and go through it with the departments that are using the space to make sure that what we're designing is what they actually need.
And I was curious about exactly that. I would assume at times to change everything around.
No, and again, one of the things we did talk about, and Chris, you put it on floor 1, is that I think that what's going to be essential on the diagram on floor 1 is that we're going to need, a reception type of area, which you put it in the pink on the left-hand side, that if the building, I think it's going to be used in multi-purpose rooms more in the after hours, but that there's a reception there and people are coming through, they're not coming through the town hall, that people are coming through, and if things are happening during the day, that there's some kind of like more like the senior center where people are coming through that area. And I think that's yeah. And so I think that there's still quite a bit that has to be worked out in this diagram, but I'm just thrilled that everyone seems to be able to fit in. And if we kind of had one less conference room and gave someone more office space or did some different things, it just has to be tinkered with a little bit.
Is that a retracting wall between gym and the?
Correct. And there are a few options. They actually have walls that they call them skyfold walls or folding walls that come from above. And the benefit to that, although they're slightly more expensive, is that they don't take up that floor space for the stacking of the panels. Talked about a curtain, which you sometimes see in gyms, versus a true wall, and ended up going with the wall for acoustical properties more so than anything else.
Still curtains.
No curtains.
No curtains.
Right now.
No curtains.
I've seen this guy for
Pictures of old buildings.
Yeah.
That's the one
Yeah.
Any other couple of questions? Go ahead, Jeff.
The parking, and this is for you guys, the parking will stay the same as the parking
are the parking needs about the same? Can everybody that works here park on that other side?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's is there a way, I wonder about the connection of the multi-purpose and the town hall since we're too close. Since you're doing in addition for the entry, I wonder if you could take a look at maybe like a direct entrance or something. One that was separate than walking around the section. It seems like once you make the act of making that space, the exact size of it should be about sure, yeah. So critical. Yeah. The thing, this makes sense in a lot of this question for you guys. You like that does it make sense to have a building here instead of high school in this room?
It could, yeah.
It seems like it might be big enough. I don't know. Then you would have to close the high school.
Right,
so,
yeah.
And also, and I think with technology it's probably better, but I just remember zoning meetings and in the past and something would be left up in the office or whatever. And now the hearings are going to be in a completely separate building. That's the case, correct? The council chambers and hearings will still be in the other building, which is something to think about. And then the little thing is the vault on the first floor was at a window. I guess you could block it out, but it'd be better to. And I think I heard before was saying it's maybe not. Or do something in keep glass there. We wouldn't be able to keep the glass. Is that the yeah. But with the layout, trying to keep those corridor walls, I think anywhere we place it in this building is likely going to obstruct at least one section of windows. And actually on that side of the building, on that ground floor level, a lot of the windows were removed and filled in. Back in the 60s. Yeah, I'm just looking from the. It's that front window. Yeah. The front window is yeah. So if you see on the right hand side, there are two windows on the side that were actually removed from the left hand side. It used to be symmetrical. But yeah, we would need to block in that one. Yeah, I think it's not. The more we have, the more concerned. And it still here's a window from the exterior. It would just be blocked off. And yeah, pharmacy is full of fake windows. It's like half the view row and half of the center pharmacy are fake. That was it. I'm just wondering if, and I've a couple of my questions have answered already. I like the idea of this. I would just, I would be more concerned about the multi-purpose use during the day and the interaction with the town hall, probably than after hours. After hours, I think you've got pretty much covered. I just wonder about during the day.
Right, and that's one of the things, again, I think we have to really kind of talk with the department about how much activity. I mean, the senior center obviously has activity, but that's the senior center and that still will be going, but how much of the actual rec programs are going on during the day? And I don't think that many, but they probably could start earlier, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and the sound, you know, that was one of the things I said, you know, making sure that the sound's not coming into the town hall, like we have to deal with that too.
We used to have, I don't know if there still is, but we used to have programs for, you know, 4 and under, and what we used to call the community center, which the alt school is in now still. So there used to be a lot of programs during the day there. So that's why I was just wondering about that during the day, that space. You know, maybe, I don't know where they are now, being public anymore. This is
yeah, I know we still have them. I don't know if they're run during the day, but that's what we have to definitely.
Yeah, they're definitely run during the day for topic programs, but that would be something to think about if they're going to do that.
And especially it's different, I think, in the summer too, where our programs are too.
Yes, yes. This is during the school for those kids who were in school, toddlers.
Yeah.
Do we have any, do we envision any other need for town governmental space in that building that hasn't been thought of yet that might be a new and emerging area that we would want to be in there and then we don't have any space for them?
No, I haven't thought of it like that. I mean, I think that some of the other things that we were talking about would be coming into this building.
Okay.
But, you know, because there's gonna be space in here, like one of the things we
We
talked
have
about.
enough space here for it.
That part, thing, yeah, like this would almost, you know, like we talked about, like the food pantry, this that be in here, some of the probate would be in here. There's other things, because there would be space in this building. So I think worst case scenario, which I don't think would happen, is that if we ever had to have like the town hall annex, this would be the annex down here and go the other one. But I think right now we can describe that. I think there is plenty of space in this building for us.
Thank you.
Let's go to the third floor. Those stations, you think we're gonna get right rid of person?
Probably two, maybe three.
We have 3 secretaries.
Yeah. Depending on how we build.
For other, they have 2 inspectors and an AutoCAD person. Survey.
So it's possible we could do 4. If we are able to, with this desk build in this, would put 1 here, potentially 1 here, and if we could rework circulation.
Yeah, the other thing we did
Possibly
is,
3.
in this plan, we tried to give every office a window. But if we were to say move the zoning enforcement up to the corridor side or a different office, that would allow us to open up that shared space a little bit more as well. So I think, Russ, if any department, just due to the size and complexity of public works, if any department needs some massaging, this is probably.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about, and I just mentioned that to Russ, is that this was one where I said that on first glance, I absolutely don't think it's enough space for them. So that's something that we're gonna, again, I think I saw some other departments and we need to move some different things around.
Yeah, just I'm reiterating, this is first draft, and then Russ brings up valid points. So when you guys meet separately with your department heads, you'll zero in very specifically what your needs would be, and then Chris and Dan can work at that point.
Yeah, it's very possible that, you know, the conference room for public works, maybe that's off where the big conference room is. And that also allows more space, or if finance is reduced slightly, that may be another opportunity to allow for more space for public works. But absolutely.
Right, exactly. I mean, again, we'll talk more about it, but I do think that right now we're kind of at a crucial stage, I think, to continue on that. We need to spend the time and with the architects, with me first looking at it, and then going to the departments and really cleaning it up so that when it comes back to the committee, it's really pretty much what we think would be finalized, and then the committee could ask some of the more detailed questions to make sure that we hit all the points.
Okay, so from a timing standpoint, we meet again in 2 weeks. That can be adequate to get a second revision.
I don't think so, because I think I think that when it comes back, it's going to be what we're like putting our thumb on it, and I think that we need to meet with me, and then I think we really need to go to each one of these departments again and look at it and say, is this enough space? Because it's your one and only time, and I want to make sure that we haven't forgotten something with some of these departments. So I think unless there was something else that the group had to decide, I think that we would go the following 2 weeks.
The following 2
weeks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. There's a few action items that we need to do. And first of all, we need to totally make sure there's no fatal flaw here, that like we're missing something totally, or something else structurally is in our way that's not shown here. So we have more due diligence to do related to that. We also need to start compiling estimates and start thinking about the numbers as it relates to this plan. I mean, moving walls around isn't going to drastically change anything unless we find something like that. But we have to start thinking of mechanical systems and how we're going to fit things. So we'll need some time to shape that out and validate it. Like you said, invest that time up front, just make sure there's nothing here that is just being overlooked on the draft.
Good.
I think it's in Russ's just take on the just position of the different offices. Because now when you go into the planning office, everybody's right there. You see everybody there. Here you might have, you know, engineering here, and you know, it just doesn't, the flow doesn't look like it works. I'd be interested in your input.
Yeah, because right now, you know, we're set up now, everything kind of flows where you're not there. Right. This we kind of got a little bit, we got to figure that out.
Right, and the other thing, and we'll talk about it more, but one of the things that Russ brought to my attention that's not there is that we have a custodian in the building. And space for the custodian and all his supplies. So
this space.
he doesn't necessarily need an office, but he does have a space where he has stuff and he has a desk and some different things. So that's, you reminded me about that you do have a.
There is a small janitor custodial closet below each set of toilet rooms, but it's not an office. Desk right.
Yeah, it's not like he's in the office, but he does have like his own separate space, and then obviously the supplies and things of that nature too.
He sits at that to figure out orders for supplies and stuff.
So we need something. So.
Okay, so any more questions for Chris and Dan?
No, but it sure looks pretty cool. Once it's
That
tightened
really
Yeah.
good. Going good. Okay, next line item, communication subcommittee. Dan, James?
Well, we passed out everything in the draft. Kat did a wonderful job putting it together. We're certainly filling the blanks here, but I think it's in a good space to sort of.
The timeline that kind of something is the town newsletters.
It shouldn't, the town is
and then we're shooting for a week after so that they don't get both at the same time. And then we had the tentative community meeting November 16th at 6 o'clock. We were talking about and then a tour of the 1928 after that.
Got some students to take the town residents around.
Now that we're hearing the timeline and we're not meeting again until November, we might have to massage that.
Oh, is that changing in this meeting, that conversation?
I mean, again, we could try. The thought was if we have something to meet on, we absolutely can. If we have to approve a newsletter or something along those lines, I mean, I think we could do it, or we could do it by computer or something like that.
No, I'm just saying, because when they're coming back with the plan for us to approve, it seems like that wouldn't be until our first November meeting, which is now November 15th. And if we're gonna have a meeting on the 16th, I think we should probably push the 16th a little bit, just to give us some time.
Exactly. Yeah. Tighten it up. We should be ready. That's an interesting thought because we were going to meet obviously before the community meeting, but give enough time for you to tighten it up.
Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah. Tell me what you're trying to do. So, what do you guys need to do?
We just wanted to advertise a community meeting in November, potentially in this newsletter that's going out. But if we're talking a timeline for everybody,
bring us back to where we are in October. Okay, so we're October right now. So all right, so tell me what your next step is.
Based on what I was hearing, we don't think the next meeting would be enough time for them to give us the final plan.
Right.
So then we really wouldn't finalize the plan for 1928 until the following meeting, which is November 15th. It got moved from the 8th.
Okay.
So the community meeting would be the next night, and I think that's a little soon.
Okay, this we just have to update. Yeah. We changed it. We don't have a council meeting on the 8th because it's election day.
Yeah.
Right, this is from our
we changed our meeting too.
Yeah, okay. So I get that.
So what we're wondering is if we're meeting on the 15th, the tighten up that you guys are talking about, the 16th is way too soon.
I would say probably a community meeting, maybe the 29th or 30th.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't do the week before because that's Thanksgiving.
And she's trying to get this out next week, so I think it's an important conversation for us to have because the front page
I just want to make sure we give them enough time to come back to us,
Yeah.
we make the decision and we're not rushed, you know, to go out to the community.
I don't want to be rushed.
Yeah. When is the meeting?
We were planning it next week.
Okay, technically for process, should this group see the newsletter? Or no, it's a-
You guys have this in your packet? Oh, you don't have it?
No, that was only for the community.
Yeah.
For the communications.
Yeah, so I think we need to look at that. All right, and so
Here's the front page.
edits do you have in comparison to what you had right there?
None.
All right, so
Just
just
the one line.
Is it out there?
Yeah, Jen, do you have it?
The newsletter?
Yeah. Maybe in your email, it's easier.
we should just take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's almost final form.
Yeah, I think there are only 2 words that we have. I feel like everybody's staring at you, trying to find this right.
No pressure.
No pressure, that's not.
I could operate this 1/10 of the speed because.
I know, I was like,
I had a thing in the Hartford Current email today about this.
Yes.
Yes.
I printed it.
See that.
Close your eyes, don't read it, so you guys.
Well, when I first saw the headline this morning, it said demolition,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa, what?
well, also the one we came out in the, I thought it was about us.
Yeah, the Valley Press had another one.
Yeah, it had, that we'd already like a den, I don't want rooms.
Yeah.
Reporting hasn't been.
No, you know what, we can't,
No.
go there.
All right, so Kathy, if you could walk us through it.
Sure, so this is the front page of the newsletter. We just have a quick link to fill in, but we wanted to do like an introduction letter from the chair. So this would be from Peter, kind of summarizing what the committee's been doing and what contents are in the newsletter. Front and center is also the meeting schedule for the rest of 2022. Obviously we will change if we already have that meeting, so we'll take October 11th out, or whenever it's gonna fit, we'll make sure we don't have past meetings on there. Page 2 is project information. So this is really an update from the town council action with just selecting option 1 and moving forward. It's very similar to what was presented at that council meeting, so the language and the content is very consistent. It's kind of getting people up to speed about where we are now. We also wanted to include the survey results because a lot of people participated in the survey, but we really haven't reached out to them since then. So it just summarizes the results that we got from the survey. An introduction of committee members, so you all have a lovely photo in there.
Sure.
I found them online, a lot of them. So, oh, the rest of
You like your photo?
Oh,
That is got it.
well, so we should not come back.
The most important thing was you were quitting. That was just your lineup picture, that's all.
Your numbers got cut off.
And Scott, that was the only picture I could find of him on the internet.
You look hard enough. Yeah. I take a picture of that in space.
The next page, it summarizes the statement of needs that was approved by town council. We just have one quick edit in here. There was a redundancy in community use, so that's just coming out even though it explains what the community use is. We wanted to introduce the project team and Silver Petrozelli, kind of explain the selection process, why they were brought on board so that everybody sees the full well-rounded team. And then a big plug for our website. I don't know if we can make that font any bigger, but we're also a QR code that's easier for people to get to the website. And then a save the date on the back, so that's the first thing that they see with that.
Yeah.
Very nice job.
Yeah, excellent.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now the newsletter, basically we're approving the newsletter, so then the community meeting, it's fine that it's a little bit later, there's no problem for that.
That's fine, that it's a little bit later. We wanted to do it prior to going to town council, and we are planning on going to town council in December.
Okay.
So I think it's still likely to do end of November, early December, just to give people an opportunity to weigh in on it before it goes to town council.
And then we'll just publicize it that when the date is, because it's gonna be, maybe you should send this out maybe a little bit later too, so there's not so much time between when they see what the save the date is to when the
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can delay a week or two, another week and have it hit October, early November.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I find that fine balance between enough time, but not too much time.
Right.
Do you mind jumping back to that count? Asking too much of you. So I think it's important if we're not going to be meeting to the 15th for us to decide tonight, when to do the community meeting.
Yeah.
The 29th or the
When's Thanksgiving? The 24th?
24th. Everybody has to be back in school on the 28th.
So we're thinking of the community meeting the week of the 14th. So are we thinking on a weekday or a Saturday?
The 29th, like a Tuesday or the 30th. Right now, we are going to do it on the 16th.
Okay. I was being more ambitious, thinking of community meetings that we've had in the past on a Saturday kind of thing, but I don't know if we'll do that kind of thing.
We are talking about having those coffee and meetings on Saturdays. This is in the auditorium of the whole community listening to you.
So on the 15th, we're having a building committee meeting, and at that time, we're gonna hopefully at that time know where we're all gonna be pretty much in the building and some different things. And the point is that after that, we want to have a community meeting after that. So you think going like the 17th or something's not enough time to pull it all together, so you can not do it the week of Thanksgiving, so do it the following week?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? Yes, we should ask you too.
Calendar's open right now. Lock it in again.
I was looking for.
Is there any
Kathy, you guys,
community stuff?
yeah, what's going on the 29th, 30th in town?
What is it, town council?
We're doing ours the 15th.
They don't have a second
You don't have it.
Yeah, Board of Ed, any of that,
November.
TPC, you name it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it's we don't have a meeting on the 30th.
I don't know if we're going to.
Maybe the 30th.
30th.
If the new building is gonna be the town hall, this building, town hall annex,
Yeah,
is that what you call
I think so, right?
it?
I just.
Yeah.
This will be the annex.
Yes. Okay, so the 30th.
Does that work for our committee members? Because we would all be there.
I'm giving you the 28th.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And that's a bit confusing too, because the idea is to present to town council and having that financial meeting and all of that at town council on December 13th. So it's a good spacing of all of these meetings.
30th. We need a motion. No? Yeah, okay. Okay, anything else on communication? All right, thank you, that was good, thank you. Okay, financial report, Kathy?
So you have the financial report in front of you, and we still again had our starting balance at $175,000. On 9/14, we had an invoice of $17,715. That was our last invoice, and then we're going to have another invoice, I think, tonight is the next item on the agenda. So we have an account balance of $156,684. So that's just our financial report, and then we're going to have an item next to have another addition to it.
Yep. Just again, you said minus the 16,000, that's the 156.
Actually, it's 150.
After we approve that, after we approve the building to the one tonight.
Okay, and then that leads us right into new business F. Joe, can you read me the motion for F1?
Yes, F1, make a motion to approve the attached invoice to Silver Country Sally Solicitors in the amount of $60,170.
For the second. Any discussion? Right, let's vote. All those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any other?
The only other thing is that are we going to plan on not having the next meeting?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, right, so I think we should have a motion to cancel that meeting.
Okay, what's the date on that?
October 25th.
I'll make a motion to cancel the next 28 meetings on October 25th.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
So the next one will be November 15th.
November 15th. Okay, anything else? All right, all I need is a motion for adjournment. All those in favor, say by saying aye. Aye. We're adjourned.